Man, oh man, Darion, do we got some things to talk about in this episode of the ShakeBack Impact podcast? Brother,
Yeah, we do.
brother, what is going on with you, man? How's life treating you out there on the East Coast?
Life is treating me okay. I need for it to warm up, but outside of that, I'm fine. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
and
It's been a rough day, but overall, we're gonna get through this, and I'm gonna just speak my mind on a lot of stuff that's going on in the sports world.
for sure. That's what we do. That's what we do. We gotta keep it real with ourselves first, and then we got to keep it real with everybody else. So it's time for us to go get it, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. And we're gonna come back here in just a second. We got a lot of matters to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, let's go and get it. Come on.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing out walking, strapped to the pong, getting jaws and smacking, they sleep with the coffins. And they get ingredient.
Yes, sir, indeedy. We are back for another episode of the ShakeBack Impact. I'm confused. I'm gonna let you say it. You say it.
ShakeBack Impact Sports Podcast. Your host is here, Willie Epton Jr. From ShakeBack Media Group, and me, Darian Hopkins, yourself from DH Impact Media, and we're here on this Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Wow, 10 days already into April. That is insane. The way life is going, the time the months are flying. Before you know it, we'll be in 2026. So, Willie, what's up with you, brother?
Man, you know what they say, right?
What they talk about?
What they say is the older you get, the faster time goes. So I think that we're both we both have the cachet to where we can say that. I know you said in a previous show that you're gonna be
40 next year.
Yeah. So, and I was 40 a long time ago. So
that means OG is telling his age, y'all.
I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed. I am not supposed to be here throughout because of the things that I have done or really not done throughout my life. But I'm blessed to be here at the age that I'm at. So it's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook. Our personal our personal pages, our page pages. That means, of course, DHI Impact or DH Impact rather, and ShakeBack Media Group. YouTube for DH Impact, Twitter for DH Impact, as well as for the ShakeBack Media Group. D, you know what, man? I put out a tweet yesterday, and I said, "Look, man," and I tagged you in it. I said, "I am wanting to help anybody that is willing to grow.
Right.
I want to help people that help me get to almost 15,000 followers. I think we'll have it probably within the next week or so. But I want to reach back and bring some folks up. So I had said, look, if you guys wanted anything and retweet it, just send me a DM. The only caveat is that we have to be following each other. And if you're not following me, then I'm not going to retweet your stuff. That's just how it is.
That's just how it is. Absolutely.
So that actually got a lot of traction, and I had to tell people, like, Sundays are usually the days that I'm not really on too much. So you might want to just either wait until Monday, or if you do it on Sunday, I'm not going to get to it until Monday anyway. So you may as well just wait until Monday to do it. So that's what that is.
Facts. And you know what? I'm absolutely fine with that. Because at the end of the day, you got to take a break from social media some way, somehow.
Yep.
And sometimes you need that break. And it's Sundays, if it's the best day, most likely the week it is for me, because I do my play-by-play, but me and my fiance is going to go see Kevin Ross this weekend. So we're going to go to a little concert at the City Winery. It's going to be a nice little intimate thing to do, because I'm always on here, and my fiance don't know a lick of sports. She don't know nothing. She knows nothing, but she goes out and she listens and she supports. So hey,
yeah, that's always a good thing.
Happy life,
Exactly. My wife is sort of the same way. She actually had to be imported, I guess, or I shouldn't say imported. Migrated? No, that ain't the word either. Let's just say that she had to become a sports fan because of me. And now I find her, putting things on Instagram and wherever else sending me. She sends me DMs about stuff going on in sports. I'm like, who are you? Who is this mass person? That's what I'd be wanting to tell her. But I appreciate all that she is and all that she does. I mean, she is co-owner of the ShakeBack Media Group, so it's all gas.
Well, speaking of wives, let's talk about this thing with Tyreek Hill that's been going around since we heard yesterday. So, from what I'm hearing, is that the police saying that Dolphins Tyreek Hill wife involved in a domestic violence dispute. Now, it says the police was called of the home of the Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill and his wife for a domestic dispute Monday, although no charges was filed. According to the Sunny Isles Beach Police Department reported, officers responded to a call from Tyreek Hill's mother-in-law, who told Hill that was very aggressive and impulsive and that she was very afraid for her daughter. According to Hill's mother-in-law, Hill and his wife, Keita Vaccaro, got into an argument and he threw a laptop on the floor before grabbing their 4-month-old daughter and heading to a balcony of their 35th floor apartment. Now Vaccaro told responding officers that she and Hill had been attending couples therapy through their frequent arguments, but hadn't worked out, adding that she was in the process of filing the divorce. She said Monday the argument began when she told Hill that he was not involved enough in his daughter's life. And that was according to TMZ that Hill served the divorce papers on Tuesday. What is your thoughts on this, Willie? I know you probably heard other reports on this, but what are your thoughts on this situation here?
I mean, I pretty much heard the same thing that you just so eloquently foretold, or told, or pre-told, or whatever.
Post-told, whatever. I get it.
But I mean, Tyreek, of course, has a history of this. All the way to his days back in Kansas, or was it Kansas State? I think it was Kansas State. Even when he was with the Chiefs, there were some issues there. But this one seems to be on a different level. When you start getting the kid involved and then taking the kid to the balcony, that's some sick stuff right there. And the last time I saw somebody of significance, or somebody, I shouldn't say of significance.
I was going there, Willie. I was going there. You right in my head with this.
I mean, I shouldn't say significance because everybody's important, but somebody famous did this was Michael Jackson when he held the baby off the ledge, and
he held blanket off the ledge. Yup.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to see if and what the NFL does. They're going to do something, I'm sure. And then the Dolphins on top of that, you got to think that they're going to probably do something too. He wanted to get out of there, and then he said he didn't want to get out of there. Then he said he did. He may not have a choice now.
Yeah.
They might put him on the first dolphin smoking to swim on up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So, I'm glad that the baby is safe. I'm glad that the wife is safe. And if these allegations prove to be everything that they are, then Tyreek, you need to you deserve the fullest extent of the punishment that you're due. Now, again, we're going to wait and see how everything plays out with the investigation, and then with what the NFL and or the Miami Dolphins do. But it's just for a guy that's had a history of those things, bro, come on, man. You got to realize what you're doing and who you are. I understand tempers may flare, but like my late great dad once said, cooler heads always prevail.
Now, according to what it says here, that Hill and Vaccaro told officers that There was an argument Monday, but it was not physical. But the officers noted a visible bruise on Vacarda's chest, and they said she told the officer she probably sustained the bruise when Tyreek Hill took her daughter at the beginning of the argument and described it as an accident. Now, officers said that Hill and Vaccaro's daughter was in good health, according to the police report, and they left without issuing any charges or citations. Vaccaro declined to write a statement about the incident, and Hill left the residence roughly 40 minutes after the officers arrived. When reached for comment Wednesday, Dolphins spokesperson issued a statement saying this. On Monday, they were informed that the police called Tyreek Hill's home, and after conversations with Tyreek and the members of his family, the police departed the residence without further incident, and the case was closed. We have since been in communication with Tyreek in the NFL and have no further comment on this matter. This marked the latest string of the off-the-field incidents involving Tyreek Hill since he was traded to the Dolphins back in 2022. Now, back in 2023, he was investigated after assaulting an employee at the Holdover Marine Center in Miami. Both sides reached a settlement. Hill was not disciplined by the NFL, and he also, the defendant's civil lawsuit was filed by an influencer, Sophie Hall, who alleged Hill broke her leg back in June of 2023 and visited his home. Now, Hall claimed that Hill frustrated by her holding her own during the football drills in Hill's backyard and caused a fracture with the physical play. And Hill disputed Hall's account, claiming that she broke her leg when she tripped over the dog. You have so many incidents at this point, Tyreek Hill. And it's starting to become an excuse at this time. And I think you need to go seek some help. And that's where I'm at with it, because now all these females coming out with domestic type of incidents, and now it's coming down to your wife where y'all are filing a divorce. Now, as a father, if you want to be involved in your daughter's life, it should be some better communication of that, instead of coming into an argument and yanking the kid out of the mother's arms. That doesn't look good on your part, Tyreek Hill, as a Black African-American man. That's one. And two, you are in the city of Miami, where I understand it's a fast city. It's a fast place to be at. But at the end of the day, Tyreek Hill, you're going to have to learn how to, keep your composure, because now these off the field issues is going to affect you on field. And as an organization for the Miami Dolphins, what are they going to do with you now? Just like Willie said earlier, because we heard trades, we heard that you don't want to be there because the Tua keep getting hurt, and then you want to leave. And then you say, "Oh, you love Tua," and stuff like that. You just need to stay out of the media at this point, Tyreek Hill. We're only into voluntary OTAs of the NFL, and you've been the talk of majority of the whole offseason since the Super Bowl. So it's time. It's time, Tyreek, for you to just settle down. And now you're bringing your divorce public on top of that. So you just need to chill out and just focus on football right now. I understand that you want to, fight to be in your daughter's life because she's a couple months old. I completely understand that as a father. I get that. But it's going public now. You need to stay behind the curtain at this point.
Right. And here's my question. I mean, okay, let me figure this out or let me ask you, because maybe I don't. Well, obviously I don't know, because I'm going to ask the question. This baby that we're talking about, the baby that he was going to take to the balcony. This is the baby this baby is by his wife, right? It ain't.
I think so.
Okay, so just say for instance that it is.
It is hers because she's 4 months old.
Okay, so it is. So Tyreek, my question to you is this, sir. It is the off season. Why are you not spending time with your 4-year-old baby girl? What are you doing if you're not at home? I mean, seriously, what are you doing out there for your wife to say that, or allegedly say that you're not spending enough time or you're not in her life enough? but y'all are married and the baby belongs to the both of you. Now, of course, it's different if you have a child by another mother and she has the primary custody. That would be somewhat different. But if you guys are married and the baby is yours and y'all live in the same roof, what's the problem?
Now, I can see it from this article that I don't think they're under the same roof. If he's saying that he's not seeing his 4-month baby daughter, that he's not seeing her enough, that means they're not under the same roof and they're separated.
Okay, take that away.
That's the only thing I can really say on that. And if she's not coming around and showing, giving him visitation or whatever, or she's making an excuse on why, I can understand that. But at the same time, if it's not no court order saying that you have visitation rights and she's not doing it, stuff like that, if it's legal, then you just got to follow those rules. If it's legal, but I don't think it's legal at all. I think she's just trying to stay away from him and keep the safety of her daughter. But at the same time, if Tyreek wants to see his daughter and wants to be in his daughter's life at a young age, maybe she was afraid because of how his temper, his anger, and stuff of that nature, and how he comes off, might be scared for her daughter's life. So it could be so many factors that falls into that.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, because there's one thing that is just inexcusable, and that is taking your daughter to the balcony as though you're going to do something. That part of it right there is inexcusable. I don't care if they live under the same roof. I don't care if they live under the same room. I don't care if they live under the same bed. I don't care that they don't live under the same roof or live under the same room or live under the same bed. That doesn't matter. The fact that, this is your baby girl, and for somebody that never actually got a chance to have daughters, biologically,
right,
bro. And I think you're 100% right too when you talk about the possible fear from the wife and the mother-in-law because of the history that Tyreek has had, and he's got history with this same woman, right?
Yeah,
inexcusable. You and if there's some concussion ramifications or whatever from
like a CTE,
yeah, if there's any of that, dude, then okay. If you haven't gotten the help and that stuff is starting to affect, then guess what you need to do? You need to go get the help for it. The NFL has offered all kinds of resources for situations just like that because number one, they don't want their players killing each other, and they don't want their players putting anybody else in harm's way.
Right. Absolutely.
That's
absolutely. And he just needs to focus on because right now is OTA voluntary workouts. Just go in the gym and blow off that steam. Like that for a man for mental health. And I know you probably can assess on this because that's what you do, life coaching, mental health stuff in your background, Willie. But for me personally, if I know I'm gonna get angry, if I know I'm gonna be, PO and stuff, because I don't want to say the word on here because we trying to be a non-cursing podcast because I know how I can be, but when it comes to this situation here, I just feel like with Tyreek Hill, you could go to the gym, you can go work out, you can go and do other things like go in the boxing gym, blow off some steam. You could do it's multiple factors to going in that. And now the fact that you yanked your daughter away from the mother, it could have been that altercation could have went left. It could have went really, really bad. But she's 4 months old. She's not like she's 6 years old, 7 years old. She's 4 months, still delicate at this moment. So some things you just have to walk away from as a man. And I understand we have that pride. We have that, we are right. We the providers and stuff of that nature. But in this incident, in this domestic violence dispute, you have to walk away from that and think about your daughter. Imagine if your daughter has to go through that. You don't want your daughter seeing that at a young age, and then she grows up and experience that. You don't want to see that. So in this situation, you have multiple options. Even with the NFL, they probably have like people that talk, they have therapists, that have mental health issues,
Oh
or
yeah.
have some type of situation where you, like I said, take a run, go bike ride, and do something to clear your mind to come back and have better communication with your wife. So it don't have to be domestic. Because NFL, if they find out that this was that bruise, and if that bruise looked really bad on the chest, Tyreek Hill, your career might be over, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be over, but he's gonna have to deal with some stuff that he may not want to deal with, and one of them is inclusive of being suspended for several games because of his history. And then I'm trying to open some water just in case y'all. I'm gonna just go ahead and show y'all on camera, because I was doing like this down below, and you was like, "What is he doing?" But if any of these things have legs, okay, if any of this has any sort of legs whatsoever, Tyreek, you need to prepare yourself. And I'm pretty sure,
Right.
I think his agent is Drew Rosenhaus, ain't it?
It might be. Drew Rosenhaus really owns the whole league, basically.
Yeah, he's like Scott Boras in Major League Baseball. Scott Boras, general managers and owners hate Scott Boras, just like general managers and owners hate Drew Rosenhaus in the NFL. But let's just pray, man, that he gets the help that he needs. And I know we say that a lot, but it still holds true. And I wanted to piggyback on what you said. It's not that I have a background in mental health as far as being a life coach, a certified life coach.
Right.
I am a mental health advocate simply because I have been diagnosed with a mental health issue. So it comes to a point to where you can't keep doing the same thing. You can't keep operating the same way.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to self-destruct, and then you're going to lose everything. And I've been on the verge of losing everything because of my pride of not wanting to get any help.
Right.
But once I made the decision, and Tyreek, you can do this too because you're a man and you can make decisions. Once I made the decision that I did not want to continue to be that way, and I was going to get help, whether it was going to be therapy, whether it was going to be counseling, whether it was going to be medication, whatever the case is, I made the decision right there, Darian, that look, this cannot continue to go on because you have a family. We as men, we're the heads and we're the protectors, and yeah, we're the providers. But these days, women, oh my gosh, we're getting off into a whole nother subject. Let me stop right there. Yeah, let me just stop right there and say that there's no shame in it. You should not be embarrassed. I mean, the NFL does a tremendous job. And as a matter of fact, what Tyreek could do is get the help that he needs, and then be an inspiration to just regular people like us.
Right. Right. But moving forward, hopefully Tyreek gets the help that he needs. Hopefully that he could figure it out. But Tyreek has like 10 kids though. He'll be okay. It's a situation that I want to evaluate more. Is large percentage of domestic violence cases between couples that is really the female over exaggerating what really happened. This is I understand that he has like 10 kids, but in this situation, he yanked a 4-month-old baby. She's 4 months.
Yeah.
I don't see that he has 9 other kids. I could completely understand that. But this is a 4-month-old that's still delicate, that's been in the world for 4 months. And you yank the baby out of her hands, that's not cool.
Right.
And I don't think that's over exaggerating. And we don't, like I said, we don't know the indication of the visiting rights of him being in his baby's life. We don't know the visiting rights of that. But what we're thinking is that he feels though that he doesn't get enough time with her. And I feel like it's a valid reason why she don't want the daughter around him because of the physicality that he does. Now, do I feel like the female might have something to do with it. Possibly, she might have said something that triggered it. But he slammed a laptop in front of her, broke a laptop in front of her, and he had other indications with other women in the past. So we're not going to sit here and make it seem like it's just all the women. No, sometimes the men just have anger issues and needs to get help at the end of the day.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Darion, let me I want to play something from another certified life coach who has created she's created a group chat between me and some other life coaches that are out there, and it's regarding what the exact thing that we're talking about. And I'm hoping she doesn't sue us because I haven't gotten her permission, but I'm sure it's going to be okay because she's going to come on. She's going to come on our Don't Jump the podcast at some point. She's been asking about it, but I want to see if I can put this up there because I think it's important for us to understand how much of an effect things have that we may not even think about. And it's important that this is discussed. Here we go right here. Let me see if I can go ahead and do it. Wait a minute, there's no sound.
This video, and I wanted to see what the opinion of other people is. Other parents are, okay? So let's watch this video together. This is an amazing video.
Why don't you say it to my face? What are you talking about? Why don't you ever think about my problem? Just lower your voice. Lower my voice? You said you wouldn't yell in front of the baby. It's always the baby. What about me? I live here too. This is my house too. I work very, very
Do they
hard.
not think that this baby can feel their emotion? Even if a baby is in your stomach, they feel your emotion.
Look, if you don't like it, why don't you get on your high horse and get out of here? Stop it! No. This happens every time.
He's about to hit this woman in the face.
Don't touch me!
Oh, do you see? Do you see? It doesn't matter if they hug. The damage has already been done.
Yeah.
The person who you should say sorry to is the baby. That is the one who does not know what's going on. That is the one who feels the most. Hug your baby. Say sorry that I done this in front of you.
Enough said.
Yeah. So, I need to wait. Why is she still playing? She's still playing, D.
I don't even hear it on your side, so you're good.
Okay, yeah, I did. Yeah, it was in my ear and it was loud. But the fact of the matter is that baby that was in that playpen is not 4 months old. That's an older baby. And what she said, and shout out to Jules, Coach Jules. I promise you, I'm gonna send this to you in our chat so you can see how powerful what you just did, how it can impact all the people that are watching us around the world.
Yeah.
Even when she said how it can impact the baby that's still in the womb, and how at least if the baby is in the womb, they're not subject to the visual part of it. They can feel the energy, and they probably can't even hear it either. Maybe they can. I'm not sure. But actually, as a matter of fact, they can hear because the baby in the womb can hear when the mom is reading to them. But that right there is an illustration of how important it is to not do certain things in front of the kids. Doesn't matter if they're 2 months old or 20 years old. Right. I thought that was powerful.
That was powerful. And you just don't know how Tyreek Hill's daughter is going to react because she's still 4 months old, but it can still be traumatizing. You know, she might not remember it when she gets old, but it could probably be something that could be triggered because of the past. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they'll get this settled out. Hopefully they get a divorce and get their visiting rights or whatever it needs to get done. So Tyreek Hill could go back to just playing football.
Yeah, well, I'm praying that they don't get a divorce and that they are able to somehow rectify this.
I mean, I don't believe in divorces either because my parents been together, 46 plus years. I don't believe in it either. But when it comes to like these famous people that have a lot of money, and I don't think in this situation itself, it's not about money. I think the wife wants the divorce due to the fact of the action of Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she don't want to be a part of something that is going to be continuously happening.
Right.
So I just feel like for a domestic violence part of it, that's why I think the divorce is going to happen. I don't think it has nothing to do with that they don't love each other or nothing like that. Just of the sake of the child and the sake of the safety of the wife is why I feel like she wants the divorce.
Mm-hmm. And okay, I don't excuse me. I don't want us to get too much in depth into the Bible because this show ain't for that.
Right.
However, we do have a show that is for that, but this ain't for that. But I will say that if it's to the point to where the parents or the spouses are going to end up hurting each other and more importantly hurting the kid, then yeah, you got to end it. You got to.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's move forward. Speaking of, we that was kind of like a touchy subject on the show because we seen this going all the way back to the Ray Rice days. We've seen this so much with NFL players and their wives or their girlfriends. And it's a really touchy subject. But I just want to lighten it up with some emotional reactions from Luka Doncic. So yeah, the Lakers won last night, 112-97 over the Dallas Mavericks in his hometown. Now, not hometown, but the team that drafted him, and the city that loved Luka Doncic. They still love him. You can tell even in a Laker uniform last night. I did the play-by-play of this game last night, and just the reaction from the fans. He had a well-standing ovation. They did a intro about him when he got drafted to the Dallas Mavericks, and it was very emotional for him. And what it shows is that he didn't want to leave Dallas. He did not want to leave Dallas, but he made Dallas Mavericks pay with the performance that he put on last night. The man in 38 minutes had 45 points, 16 of 18 from the field, 7 of 10 from the 3-point line, 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. I'm going to be honest with you. This has been one of the best performances that I've saw out of Luka, and he wasn't tired.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't tired.
Mm-hmm.
Luka balled out last night, and he gave Dallas a show. Willie, what was your thoughts on the game last night?
Well, as one that has been credentialed to cover the Mavs in the past, and I was just thinking about this last night because I was there when Dirk played his last game. I got the whole 45-minute tribute still on my phone to this day. And how many years ago? That's been
almost 10 years?
No. It's been, I want to say 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So however long Luka's been in the league is when that was, because he was a rookie when Dirk left. But I remember we had our NBA draft talk with the BGC Sports Network that year that he got drafted. And if you remember, there was a swap between the Atlanta Hawks and the Dallas Mavericks. So instead of,
because Luka was supposed to go to Atlanta, I remember that.
And Trae Young was arguably supposed to come here. And I remember one of my boys that was on the network at that time. His name is Charles Boyd. Charles, if you're out there listening, sir, do you remember your reaction when Luka was drafted instead of Trae Young? He basically said, this is a disastrous pick. This guy is going to be a bust, yada, yada, yada. And every time I would see or talk to him, I would throw it in his face, as the big brother would do to the little brother.
Right.
But last night, and for the emotion that he showed, humanized him. He humanized himself, and all of the rumors around the Dallas area, and you guys know out there watching that I live in the Dallas area. So the fans were absolutely livid when that trade was announced.
Right.
And they were even just as livid because there was no warning. And for the Lakers to be on the verge of possibly securing the number 3 seed and having a real opportunity, in my opinion, to make it to the NBA Finals, imagine what this area is going to feel like. Imagine what this area is going to do if that happens and the Mavs not even make the playoffs after last year going to the finals themselves. So that means what? Luka will be in the finals 2 years in a row.
Right.
I thought it was fantastic what the Mavs did. Some people think that the organization overdid it. I love the way that Mark Cuban embraced him afterwards, because Mark Cuban sold his shares of he's no longer the owner of the team. And he was on record in saying that if I were still in charge, there's no way I would have traded Luka.
Right. But what was your thoughts on the game last night and how he performed? I don't know if you've seen the highlights.
I saw the game. I watched the whole game. So I said all that and didn't even answer the question, did I?
No. You said all, but I mean, you went down memory lane, so I can understand. I completely understand.
Yeah, and a little bit more about memory lane. He's a good kid. I've talked to him several times. I've had an opportunity to ask him a bunch of different questions, both before the season and then after games, when they either won or lost. But he's a cool kid. But last night's performance, the dude had 31 points in 18 minutes at one point last night.
Yeah, it was almost, he had 35 at the half.
Yeah, but 31 points in 18 minutes. I think you always, as a player, whether you are traded or whether you are cut, you already know that there's something there that the team or the franchise doesn't want you anymore. So you always want to have your best game against the former team that you were with.
Right.
And in Luka's case, this is the place where he grew up. This is the place where he came in as an 18-year-old kid and he left here as a 24-year-old man or however old he is. I think the game itself and how he performed was typical Luka. This dude has been a professional basketball player since he was 13. So
yeah.
there's
playing overseas, right?
Yeah, there's nothing that can phase him. He's been playing against grown men his entire life. So, I mean, the performance was what it was. I mean, I didn't expect anything any different.
But even looking at this box score, right? Like, if you look at not even though the fact that Luka had 45, and Luka really had to do much in the fourth quarter. Because this game was close in the fourth quarter. LeBron James, and I know a lot of people out there hate LeBron James, but the fourth quarter that LeBron James had, it reminded me of a 30-year-old LeBron instead of a 40-year-old LeBron. The man played 36 minutes. He was 11 of 20 from the field. He was 0 for 4 for the three-point line, but the man had 27 points and 7 rebounds and 3 assists. And then you had Rui Hachimura with 15. You had Austin Reeves with 11. Then you had Finney Smith, a former Dallas Maverick, come in and had 5. And, they did get about 5, 7, 9, 11 points off the bench for the Los Angeles Lakers, shooting the ball 46% from the field. You can't be mad at that.
Right.
But Dallas struggled offensively. I mean, even though they shot 50% from the field, there was only 9 of 26 from the three-point line. Anthony Davis did not have his best game last night.
Mm-hmm.
He did have 13 and 11, but that's not Anthony Davis that we was expecting. I think we get a better Anthony Davis once Anthony Davis goes to LA. It goes back to LA for the first time. I think that's going to be an interesting thing there. But to look at it, PJ Washington with 14, Najee Marshall had a coming out party for Dallas. I don't know what just happened there, but you just took me off the screen.
No, you're on the screen by yourself.
But I'm just saying, Najee Marshall had himself a coming out party, 23 points, 9 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. And the rest was like you had Spencer Dinwiddie had 10. And Max Christie. I don't know why the Lakers gave up Max Christie. That guy is a baller. In 28 minutes, he did have 11 points. He was 5 of 8 from the field, but he's so quick to get up and down the floor. And I just like the roster that Dallas do have, even with or without Luka. I still like the roster, but they got to win the rest of their games to get into the play-in tournament. That's the struggling part about it.
It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
You think it's not going to happen?
They shouldn't even want to be in the play-in. I'm really shocked that the Mavs did not shut down AD for the rest of the year. And even with him not being shut down, it's still not going to be enough. If I'm not mistaken, they don't have any advantage in any of the tiebreakers. So what's the point? You're gonna be one and done. Seriously. And they used to call the Mavs back in the day the one and done boys. It was so funny. They used to call them the one and done boys.
It used to be that bad?
Yeah, because excuse me, back when I'm gonna tell you when it stopped. The year that they won the championship is when it stopped, obviously. But even that season, the Mavs caught fire in the playoffs, and they beat Damon. They beat. I almost said Damon Stoudemire. They beat C.J. McCullough and Damian Lillard when they were both with Portland in the first round. In the second round, I think they beat the Spurs. And those teams were always built, in my opinion, to beat the Spurs. And then they just killed the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. But even that year, nobody was expecting the Mavs to get past the Blazers. They were expected to be one and done because they had been one and done.
Portland wasn't one and done teams too back in the day. They was definitely one and done teams as well.
Who that?
The Blazers.
Yeah, but they weren't. That 1 year, okay, when Avery Johnson had taken over for Don Nelson, and they were 67-15, the number 1 seed in the West, and they got beat by Golden State, who was coached by who? Don Nelson.
You got me there. You got me there. But I mean, I do agree, but the fact that they even was mentioned to be in the play-in, I mean, it gives the Mavericks fans some hope.
No,
because I mean, it gives it hope because they can still finish out a season on a higher note. So technically, it's not like Mavs fans wants to tank.
I haven't even asked any Mavs fans around here, but I can tell you this much: they're not expecting anything. So their mindset may be of one, okay, let's go ahead and tank. They're not going to get a top draft choice because their record is not. I mean, it won't be a lottery pick because their record is not so bad to where they're going to have the best percentage to land one of those top 4 or 5 picks. And even still, I mean, excuse me, with the Mavs and the injuries that they have suffered all season long, couple that with the trade of Luka to LA, it's been a weird year. And I think for Mavs fans, particularly those here in the Dallas area, after going to the finals last year and they got gentlemanly swept by the Celtics, I think a lot of Mavs fans expected for them to be able to return at least to the Western Conference Finals based on what happened last year. Another year of experience under the belt for Luka. You would think that his emotions would be in check being 1 year older, but all of that stuff got turned upside down at the deadline, boy. I'm telling you, it was crazy around here.
If y'all want to tank, then good luck to y'all. That's what I'm gonna say. If y'all want to tank, and I don't really think it's like you're not gonna get like a Cooper Flag of the world, but you still can get a quality player while you're deciding to tank. That's just my personal opinion about it. But I want to talk about this real quick, and I don't know if you watch what's Wallow 267 or Gilly's podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game. It was Jaylen Brown on the podcast, and I saw it on. I think I could probably pull it up on YouTube. $1 million worth. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But he was talking about how NBA players, he was talking about how NBA players should. It's about not like Jaylen Brown. Okay, Jaylen Brown actually got his contract done without having an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And he spoke on about $1 million worth of game. Let me see if I can find their Instagram name, or just go to Gilly's page or Wallow's page, Wallow267. Shout out to Wallow267. I love that. I love that guy. I really do. He's an amazing person. Yeah, I don't know what's going on my Instagram. I can't follow it, but it is what it is. But he was talking about how he's advocating for other players to not talk about, like, to not have agencies, because you don't know if you can't help me with my finances, or you're telling me to make bad decisions, then why should I have an agent?
Right.
So I just feel like in that situation, let me see if I can find. Oh my God, I just want to find it, because he was like speaking gems to me, and speaking gems to anybody that that's in professional sports that has an agent. And Jaylen Brown is so humble,
Mm-hmm.
and he tries to build his own legacy. And let me see if I can. I think it's right here. I think it's right here. Don't get me wrong about trying to build his own legacy. So I'm trying to see if I can share this here, because this is it was amazing that what I saw from Jaylen Brown. And I don't know if this is it per se, but I am going to play this part about, building a legacy and elevating the minds of athletes.
So
Yes.
it's all said and done. What you want your legacy to be remembered as?
That's one of my favorite questions. When it's all said and done, I want my legacy to be remembered as, like, Jaylen pioneered or elevated the mind of athletes, so that, they could see their value, they could see their true influence, and that they deals, how they carry themselves and handle themselves reflects that in the future. And they can point back at how, Jaylen, handled himself throughout his career, and they can use that as a North Star.
So when it's all said and done,
So
what you want your legacy to be
wasn't
remembered
it,
as?
but I do like the message
Mm-hmm.
that he put out. But he was telling, like, at this point, he wants more players to come and advocate for themselves when it comes to these contracts in the NBA. Because the way he did it, he got one of the top contracts in the NBA without even having an agent.
Yeah.
Without having to go out and put percentages on agents to pay them, or you go out and get these accountants that's really not helping you with your money financially. So do it yourself. Read between the fine lines of these contracts on your own, because the agent could be like, "Oh, it says blah 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 blah," and then you don't read the fine print, and then you're losing money more than you're gaining money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think Jaylen Brown is one of those guys that don't speak a lot in the public as much as an athlete, but the gems that he put out on there on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, I just love what he had to say about it. I did.
Yeah, and I don't even have anything to add to it, simply because everything that he said, I'm hoping that not just NBA players, not just professional basketball players, but any athlete on any level gets the message.
Yeah.
And that's something that can be taken all the way back to Pop Warner. There's 13, 14-year-old kids playing Pop Warner who are studs.
Right.
So shout out to him for that. That's dope.
And shout out to, for him for talking about that, because that could even be a college thing too for the NIL.
Mm-hmm.
So represent yourself, because hiring an agent, You're going to have to come out of pocket and pay that agent. You have to come out of pocket and pay these accountants. Learn your financial literacy. Learn that, because money can be taken from you right under the rug and you won't even know it.
Yep. Now, I don't have a problem with getting a finance manager, but like Biggie once said, I got lawyers watching lawyers so I don't go broke.
Right. Willie is not a Warriors fan. I think the only reason why I think Arku said that because you got the W on your hat.
That's Washington Nationals, Arku. Baseball. He said I should be a Warriors fan. Why? I grew up. You know what? Let me just say this, Raku. First of all, Arku,
do I need to put the single camera on here so you can address this?
You can. I mean, I ain't tripping. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one. You do it. You do it. There you go.
Okay, so he actually has placed 4 more comments on here. So let's put them all up there in order. Is Willie a Warriors fan? No, I'm not. He should be. No, not that. I don't know what no that not that is. If he likes the A's. Okay. So Arku, I grew up the first part of my life in Oakland, California, for the first 9-10 years, whatever you want to say. But I never let go of the culture. I never let go of the town. My connection to the town was through music from the West Coast, and of course, my cousins that are still out there. So I am not a Warriors fan. I have never been a Warriors fan. I am a Laker fan at this moment. Now, my favorite team of all time is the Pistons because Isaiah Thomas is my favorite player of all time. I am an Oakland A's fan, and I am a Las Vegas Raider fan for obvious reasons. So I'm curious to say, or curious for you to say, or answer, or tell me, why should I be a Warriors fan? Because I'm not. Tell me why I should be. And we're gonna put D back up on the screen as we wait for Arku's. The other Cali team. What do you mean the other Cali team? There's I mean, if you're talking about the NBA,
you have Sacramento, you have LA, Lakers, you have the Clippers, and you have the Warriors.
Right. So there's 4 teams in Cali right there. All 4. Look, 4 of the 5 teams in the Pacific Division are actually on the Pacific. Well, Sacramento's not on the coast, but it's not far from it.
Right.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And we look, I'm gonna speak for Darion when it comes to this because we love interacting with people in the chat.
Yeah, we do.
It makes it so much funner. I'm actually still working on how we can get people to call in to the show while we're streaming. Now, how dope would that be? That we would be on a whole nother level if we were able to pull that off.
And I just wanted to throw this out here real quick from Ian Rappaport, because I know our Las Vegas Raiders did not give this wide receiver a chance. The Eagles have agreed to terms with Terrence Marshall Jr., sources told, as the former Panthers, 49ers, and Raiders agreed to a 1-year deal contract done by Vince Taylor of Elite Loyal Sports. I wanted to give this guy a chance in the Las Vegas Raiders. I did. We just didn't give him a chance, but, best on his endeavors with the reigning champion Philadelphia Eagles. One thing I'm going to say about it, the Eagles going to find a way to figure it out with him.
Mm-hmm. And Terrence Marshall the third, actually.
Yeah.
He was a great receiver at LSU with OBJ and Jarvis Landry. And no. He wasn't on that team. He was on a team with was he on a team with Joe Burrow now?
Yes.
Yeah, Burrow, Chase, Jefferson,
Chase,
and Moss. That is Moss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually had tried to get Mr. Marshall on the show a couple times. I actually have his dad's number, but we were never able to figure it out. But yeah, I hope he lands on his feet in Philly, and that is a great place to land on your feet. So kudos to him for that, and good luck. Best wishes going forward.
But let's get down to it. With a little bit more NBA talk. You figure out what was the reasoning of, what was one of the main reasons of Mike Malone being fired from the Denver Nuggets? Now, I mean, you sent some stuff over to me, but I was a little bit under the weather today. So I like slept after I came home from work because it was a half day for me. So break it down to us on what's your thoughts about it, Willie, on Mike Malone's firing. What was like, because we didn't really we had a lot of speculation on the last show, but I think you got a clearer vision on why did he get fired. So what was your thoughts on that once you heard that news?
Yeah, apparently they Nikola Jokic was interviewed after the game against Sacramento last night, in which he recorded his 33rd double-double. I'm sorry, 33rd triple-double. 33rd triple-double of the season last night. So to me, I think there were some issues between Murray and Jokic with some of the decisions that were being made in terms of the inflow game stuff. Like, I don't know if they really care for Russell Westbrook getting the amount of minutes that he's been getting, or maybe they think he should get more minutes. But there was some sort of philosophy issue, I believe. I'm not reporting this, but this is what I gathered from his interview. Right. And I do believe that they went to him. They being the brass for the Nuggets, I do believe that they went to him and said, hey, what do you think about this? And from what I interpreted, he did not give Mike Malone any sort of ringing endorsement. So if you don't say, if you don't say yeah, then you're saying no. And I don't know if he was the only one, but that's just what my interpretation was. And we talked about it on
the last show.
When we said, you know what, this kind of feels like it might be a superstar thing. And I don't know if it was him by himself. Jamal Murray is injured right now. Michael Porter Jr.
he's been out for a while now.
Yeah, he should be coming back. I want to say he's coming back before the end of the regular season. But
they might hold him out until the playoffs start.
No, they need him because they're in that jumbled group of those that could be either the 4th seed or in the play-in tournament.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and just like we said on the last show, right? They didn't want, this is what I heard from Brian Windhorst, I believe it was, that they being the brass, did not want the Nuggets to go too far into the playoffs, and then Mike Malone gets credit for them advancing deeper into the playoffs, and now they got a real dilemma on their hands because they didn't want him there. And that makes sense too.
So if you didn't want him there, Arcu says that it made sense. I understand that you're a Thunder fan. You got the number 1 seed argument.
No. He says firing Calvin Booth made sense.
Okay, Calvin Booth made sense because I heard it was months on months where Mike Malone and Calvin Booth did not even talk to each other. Mm-hmm. Now I heard that, but I just feel like the firing of Mike Malone, how it was done, and you could have waited until the end of the season to do this firing. If it was that big of a deal, you're going into the playoffs, even though that Mike Malone has a great win percentage under the Denver Nuggets organization as a coach.
Right.
And y'all saying that, I don't know, I think I'm going to reiterate it for you, but you said something about Russell Wilson getting a lot of minutes. Well, Jamal Murray is hurt. So who can you put in there as a point guard that's better than Russell Westbrook on that roster?
But I'm not talking about since Jamal Murray has been injured. And I know he's been out for a minute, but I think whatever's brewing has been brewing for a while. Because you don't make a snap decision like that over the span of a week or 2 weeks, especially when you have a coach that is either the winningest or the second winningest coach in your franchise's history, just took you to an NBA Finals for the first time and won it 2 years ago, in position again now at the present time to at least get to the second, maybe even the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So it had to have been brewing for a minute in order for them to do what they did. So when you said if they didn't want them there, that's the exact reason why they did it. Because if they go far and they know that they don't want them, then it's going to be mutiny, especially if they were to get to the Western Conference Finals and say, for instance, they get there and excuse me, they lose, but they don't lose in a blowout type of fashion. It's a fight between them and the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Lakers or whoever. So if they were to not fire him and they go all the way to the Western Conference Finals and say they lose in 7 games, they wouldn't have any recourse for firing that dude without a whole bunch of backlash from Denver Nuggets faithful. And maybe they don't care, but it's Stan Kroenke. And Kroenke, it's like I said last time, you ask St. Louis people about Stan Kroenke, and they are ready to drop the guillotine on him.
Okay, for the Denver Nuggets fans out there, if you're going to watch this, tell me a coach that's on the market right now that doesn't have a coaching job that's better than Mike Malone. I don't think you can name one.
Mark Jackson.
Well, Mark Jackson knows. I think he's at a point where Mark Jackson knows that he's blackballed from the NBA. He won't get a coaching job again.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate.
I'm just saying, as an active coach that formerly been a coach in previous seasons,
Coach Fizdale from Memphis.
I'm not buying that. I think he'll be better than Mike Malone in Denver. I'm not buying that.
And the kid that the coaches they just fired before Malone got fired. This dude was the winningest coach in Memphis history. They let him go.
I think they let him go because of the fact that he couldn't control Ja Morant. That's the reason why I think he got fired for.
Man,
but like I said, yeah, I don't think Mark Jackson's going to get a job again. I would love to see him get a job again, but the way the NBA is blackballing him at this point, I don't see it.
Is Mike Brown still? Mike Brown's not coaching. He's not coaching the Kings.
Yeah, Mike Brown got fired from the Sacramento Kings.
So
but I don't think he's on the caliber of Mike Malone.
And here's the thing too. Does Denver do they want to recycle coach? I was talking about this with, shout out to my homie Megan, the Queen of Hoop. I was on her show as a call-in guest yesterday, and they were talking about this. And we were I mentioned the name Mike D'Antoni, and she almost had a conniption. But Mike D'Antoni is, no.
Mike D'Antoni sucks as a coach. He sucks. I really thought that it was going to be a point where the Philadelphia 76ers was going to get him due to the fact that James Harden loved Mike D'Antoni, and that whole thing they had in Houston with Daryl Morey, James Harden, and Mike D'Antoni. No, I'm Mike D'Antoni needs to stay on the sidelines and not have a coaching job either. So, but you're right, Arku. This NBA season has definitely been a weird season overall. Hopefully the play-in and the playoffs will be a little bit more exciting in that situation. So hopefully that will happen. But Willie, I wanted to bring this to your attention because I know you are a big baseball fan. Now, it says Mark DeRosa to manage the U.S. World Baseball Classic again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, former major leaguer Mark DeRosa will manage the United States for the second straight World Baseball Classic. USA Baseball announced today that DeRosa led the U.S. to the championship game back in 2023 in the 2023 tournament when they lost to Japan 3-2, and Ohtani struck out Mike Trout to end that game. Michael Hill, Major League Baseball Senior Vice President on the field operations and workforce development, will be the team's general manager. A position of Tony Reagan's will be held for the 2023 tournament. At that time, it was held by him in 2023. But DeRosa is 15, is a broadcaster for MLB Network. He has a .26 average with 100 homers and 494 RBIs over 16 major league seasons. What is your thoughts on him, managing the team of on the World Baseball Classic?
I love Mark DeRosa. He was a really good player. He wasn't a great player, but he was a good player. He contributed to the success of a lot of teams that he played for, to include the Giants. He played with Barry Bonds. As a matter of fact, he had a home run. He was the last left fielder, if I'm not mistaken. He was the last left fielder for the Giants to hit a home run in their first game, I want to say, since the kid that just did it this year.
Okay.
He knows his stuff. He is a fundamentalist. And as Arku said, yeah, he is a part of the MLB network. He's on the show with Lauren Shahidi and I forgot the other guy's name. Roberto Flores, Roflo. And every so often they have clinics on the show they'll bring in Albert Pujols or anybody else has had a great career as far as from a batting standpoint. And I know the players for that USA team in 2023 absolutely loved him. So I think it's the right move. It's not his fault that Mike Trout struck out against Ohtani with a chance to win the game in the bottom of the ninth. That wasn't his fault. But I think it's a good move, Mark DeRosa. I'm a fan of his from the MLB network. When he played with the Cubs, I think he actually won the championship with the Cubs in 2016. First time they had won a World Series since 1908, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I like him as an analyst. I like him as a manager. I think it's a good move.
I think it's a pretty good move too. I mean, I heard of DeRosa, back in the day when he did play. My dad knows more about Mark DeRosa than I do because my dad followed baseball just as well as Willie. So I just wanted to get, bring that news to your doorstep as well for the baseball world, the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully US can come back and win that, knowing that we did lose to Ohtani in Japan 3-2 in the last tournament that we did do. But I want to go into some football real quick. I think this is what I heard, right, about the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Watson is using the doubters as a comeback fuel. And he said that he believes in himself. It says that the Cleveland Browns and quarterback Deshaun Watson has been rehabbing after re-tearing his right Achilles tendon and diagnosed could sideline him for most, not if all, of the 2025 season. But it seems that he had a message for anyone questioning that he will return on his latest setback in his career. It was a video posted on Instagram on Wednesday, which documents that his rehab at the Browns facility, and Watson said, "Everyone is doubting me. Everyone don't believe in me. Everyone don't think that I can get back to where I was. But I know that I believe in the work that I put in and what I believe in myself. The piece that I've been channeling these last couple of months, I know I'm going to be way better than before." And it says that the comments come from a week after the Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam admitting he was at the owners meeting and his team traded for Deshaun Watson back in March of 2022, which was a big swing and miss, quote unquote. And the Browns traded 3 first-round picks to Houston for Deshaun Watson and gave him a 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract, which was the time the league's record, or the league's contract when it comes to guarantees. Haslam said that we thought we had our quarterback. We didn't. We gave up a lot of draft picks to get him, so we have to dig ourselves out of that hole. Willie? Willie? Talk about it.
All right. Okay. Number one, what is he supposed to say? I'm washed up. I'm a scrub. I finessed the Browns. I finessed the Texans. Okay, cool. Believe in yourself, brother. That's what it's all about. But let me remind you, sir, that there are still allegations out there about you doing the things that you were accused of doing when you were in Houston. But it be that as it may, let me also remind you, sir, that you have had 2 torn Achilles injuries.
Right.
That means you're going to be out for all of this year and a good part of next year. And last year, you were already out for the season after what, week 10? And then coupled with the fact that you didn't play a full season in 2020 or whenever it was. Bro, I'm going to tell you, I'll let Vince McMahon say it best. Are you guys ready for this? I'm going to let Vince McMahon tell him that he...
No chance, 'cause that's what you got.
Oh, I'm getting in my WrestleMania mode. I cannot wait for WrestleMania next week. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. Oh, man. But Deshaun Watson, I think you are a talent. I think you are a good talent. But you screwed yourself in Houston. You screwed yourself. You got your way out of Houston, and you went to a team that recycled quarterbacks more than the Las Vegas Raiders did in the last 20 years. That's just that's nothing against my Raiders at all. But you went to a team that's still recycling quarterbacks, and Haslam had every right to feel like it was a hit and miss. Last year, you did not make. Last year, when you did play a full season with the Browns, didn't make the playoffs. You played this season with them and went 3-14 with the Cleveland Browns. That's always going to be at the bottom of the AFC North. And number 3, yeah, you have 17,904 career passing yards, but everyone is going to doubt you because you're up there in age at this point. I mean, you're 29 years old going on 49. That's what you're looking like, Deshaun Watson. You're 29 going on 49. And we are in a league, we are in an NFL where if you're not relevant or if the next man up, it's time to move on. And the Cleveland Browns are moving on. They and I'm happy that the Cleveland Browns came out and admitted this because you know they never come out and admit they did a hit and miss on quarterbacks. You know they never do. But they finally stepped up to the plate and said it was a hit and miss for Deshaun Watson. And thank God. It was a swing hit and miss. It was more strikes than hits.
Right. Well, I'll ask the question just like Ice Cube did. I forgot what movie it was, but Ice Cube said, he said,
"What do you say? What do you say? I can't believe you got me in the mix with this fool."
That's Friday.
Yep. And then Jimmy Haslam is telling them this.
Get off your ass and get in this car, boy. I don't know why you come down here messing with these people.
Now that made me want to watch Friday. That definitely makes me want to watch Friday, yo. I tell you, that is on point. That is on point. But at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson, keep believing in yourself. And if you feel like you can bounce back, and right now the draft is what the weekend of the 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
3 weeks from today.
3 weeks from today. So if I was you, Deshaun Watson,
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today, basically.
Yeah.
And if I am you, Deshaun Watson, you better be praying that they don't draft a quarterback. Which I think they are, but you better be praying they don't draft a quarterback because if you want to be out this whole season and possibly next season, they're moving on from you.
Yeah, and they've already restructured his contract. Not that he's gonna lose any of his guaranteed dollars, but what does that? And he didn't have a choice. I mean, what was he gonna? I mean, I guess he did have a choice because it's all guaranteed. But at that point, he may have been trying to save face. I think he's done, man. I think he's done. And shout out to my boy, my little brother, Marshawn Powers, who was so excited when they traded for Deshaun, and how in the 2022 season or 23 season, when Deshaun got suspended, and he said that Deshaun was still going to be the comeback player of the year, and actually picked the Browns to go to the Super Bowl. I can't find him now, but you know how to. Wait a minute. I got another one. I have another one. So, Marshawn, this is for you, sir.
Oh, no, you big dummy. You dummy. You big dummy. 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 Get lost, dummy.
Get lost, dummy. That is, oh Lord! But
I keep him on deck, bro. I keep him on deck.
You keep them on deck. I need those. I actually need those now on my soundboard, because even though like when I do the basketball games and they do an air ball, I'll be like womp womp womp.
Mhm.
But now if they're gonna do air balls for 3-point shots or just a jump shot in itself, you big dummy. I needs that. I definitely needs that.
I will definitely send it to you. It's okay.
But Willie, I know you do have some promotion to give out and let the people know about a lot of things that's going on in the community itself. So I definitely want to give you the floor to, let people know about, things are going on and stuff of that nature. So I'm gonna just give you the floor. You even come up here by yourself.
Nah.
It's all yours.
Okay, well, since you said I could, I'll do that. I mean, I ain't never shied away from the camera, but I'm gonna put this on the screen and see now we're both.
I'm listen. You'll get back to it. It's fine. We here.
Yeah. So guess what? We are doing a reverse or remove, reverse, and reclaim. Remove corrupt politicians from office. Reverse the damage. Reclaim our democracy. My esteemed partner, Kimberly Knight Proza. She's one of my neighbors in the hood over here, outside of Dallas. Have organized this protest for April 26th from 10 until 2, Rockwall Courthouse, 1111 Yellow Jacket Road in Rockwall. Now, we've already cleared it with the city officials. We're not going to be in violation of anything. We're not going to be out there acting a fool. It's going to be a peaceful protest. She's working on getting some signage. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have another meeting 1 week before the protest, but I wanted to put this out there just in case anybody wanted to join us. And again, we're going to have fun, but we're going to be serious at the same time. So I wanted to shout her out for that. And my wife, shout her out for this because she's the one that put this flyer together. And we're going to go out there and we're going to exercise our constitutional right. That's what we're going to do.
What's going on, Key? Shout out to Key in the building. That's the home skillet right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Key in the building. Shout out to her, man. And Key, funny thing, if you're still here, right? I was showing my fiance an old clip. When I was live on Facebook with like Mal Gooley, Keith, Jake from the Snake Sports Talk Show, and a few others when we were all a part of the Spotlight Sports Network. And it was a thing where Keith was saying, the one, you know which one I'm getting to, Key. You know which one I'm getting to. When you jump in, when you go into second place and you pass the person in second place, or you consider it in first place, that whole thing was a spill. It was so long ago. It was the racing one. Yes, the racing one I showed. And my fiance is just incompetent as Keith. So Keith, I love you, brother, but my wife is incompetent when it comes to that conversation. I said I'm not going to have that conversation no more on live, but since you're here, I had to talk about it. It was ridiculous. Probably on that one show, I would like cut that clip and like actually play it on here just to really get a better understanding of it. But it comes to find out Keith was right. Don't tell Keith that now. I'm sticking to my guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking to my guns. Jay confirmed it. Oh, shout out to Jay. Shout out to my youngin, which is Key's son. He has a lot of scholarships right now that's being offered to him to go to college. I don't think he's going to play a sport, but at the end of the day, shout out to my boy Jay. He's about to graduate high school and go off to college. I don't know which one he picked, but he will let me know.
Do great things, young king. Great things.
Facts. He might. Okay, listen. If he might go play a sport in college, I'm down for it. I coached Jay when he was, younger. He was my center. He was my left tackle. He did it all on my offensive line. So I coached him when he was in youth. So yeah,
Let's get him on the show.
I mean, we can get him on the show. I mean, that's a phone call away. All I gotta do is call Key.
Yeah, that's
a phone call away. But
one more thing, D, before we get up out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to pay the bills, man. Got to pay the bills. So we've been talking about mental health. We talked about that with Tyreek in the opening of the show. So here's your opportunity to get some help if you need it. Here we go.
Are you feeling stuck?
Oh, not that one. I knew I was going to do that. I knew it. Keep talking, D. I knew I was going to play the wrong one.
He said that he's 205 pounds now. He can't play center, either edge or tight end. But that is what Jay wanted to do. Jay wanted to play tight end when he was in youth. So I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah. All right. I got the right one. We don't
do your intro again, then.
We don't want no copyrights. Here we go. Fellas, life can be heavy. Balancing responsibilities, handling stress, and managing your mental health. It's not easy, but you don't have to carry it all alone. At Don't Jump Life Coach Solutions, we understand the unique challenges men face. I am Willie Epting Jr., a certified life coach, and I'm here to help you navigate life's pressures, build resilience, and regain control of your mental health. Take that first step forward to a stronger, healthier you. Call us at 469-358-5241 for your free consultation today. Balancing responsibilities, handling stress, and managing your mental health. Life can be heavy. I'm here to help you navigate handling stress and managing your mental health. Call us at 469-358-5241 for your free consultation today. It's not easy, but you don't have to carry it all alone. Take that first step forward to a stronger, healthier you. Don't Jump Life Coach Solutions, because even the strongest men need support, and it starts here. Absolutely. And just let me say this behind that. We're offering 20% off for our services. It's a 6-week program. We're going to get you to the place where you never thought you would be before, whether it's relationships or whether it's mindset coaching. I do that by myself. Patrice and I, we do couples coaching, or we do relationship coaching as well. So yeah, definitely hit us up. Don'tjump.net is the website. That's all I got, D.
Don'tjump.net, Key. If you definitely want to hit up, Willie on that situation, because I know Key's been going through a lot. I don't know if you want me to say it, but Key lost her mother not a while back, but like recently this year. So still prayers out to her, because her mother was like an aunt to me. So like he was a diehard Eagles fan. So I don't know, Key mind be racing a lot. My mind be racing a lot too. But don'tjump.net. Make sure y'all go check that out there. But any final words before we head out of here, man? 2 weeks before Christmas it happened. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wow. Shout out and prayers up, Key. I lost my dad 8 years ago this month, as a matter of fact. So I can relate. So my final thoughts basically is just that, if you're downtrodden, if you need motivational help, if you need your mindset to change, if you are a blended family and you and your spouse are struggling with the blended kids, we have an entire curriculum of stuff that we not only have gone through, but our whole focus is to make sure that we teach folks what not to do.
Right.
And I always tell folks that I would have paid for this coaching opportunity if it was offered to us back in the day. So yes, we are here for you. Period. Point blank.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode in the books for the ShakeBack Impact Sports Podcast from ShakeBack Media Group and DH Impact Media. And we're going to keep bringing the content to you. Daily videos, shorts, reels, TikTok, all of that nature. So make sure y'all keep tuning in into these shows because it's going to be on a consistent basis. And we're going to try to grow both communities from ShakeBack Media Group and his life coaching and mindsets and everything that he does. And we're going to shed light on positive things, not just all sports. We shed light on all things, positive that we can do in our communities outside of just talking sports. But at the end of the day, make sure y'all follow us. Follow me at DH Impact Media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, any social media platform. Go to DHImpactmedia.com. I'm gonna start writing articles on there as well. I still have to start writing articles. I haven't wrote articles in a while. You can definitely check our podcast on there as well. Same thing for ShakeBack Media Group. I had to change it on here to Instagram at ShakeBack Media Group. Same thing for Twitter and all social media platforms. LinkedIn, DH Impact Media. Well, Darian Hopkins on LinkedIn. Willie Epton Jr. with all his degrees after that on there. That is a long name on LinkedIn, y'all. He's a long name on LinkedIn. I'll be like, yo, he has mad degrees. Like, it's crazy. But make sure y'all follow us on all social media platforms, man.
All right, D. I appreciate that, man. Thank everybody out there for linking up with us in the chat. It was dope. We got a lot of viewers today, so we're gonna keep this thing going. But it's time for us to go. And until we see you guys again on Tuesday, y'all take care of each other, y'all hug each other, y'all love each other. We promise it's gonna be all right. And we will holler at y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.
Peace.
We just vibing.
We just vibing.
Okay, now we out.